Roman Reigns proves why he's the head of the table. We have the return of one of the 4 horsewomen, and Randy Orton is on fire. This is our review of WWE TLC 2020. What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a good time. Hope you're having a good day and getting ready for the last of the holiday season. Of course, we got Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and Christmas and New Year's and Boxing Day and all kinds of stuff coming up. So I definitely hope you guys are having a good time out there and staying safe. Yes, I am in a new environment here. I just built this wall this past week. So where I said, hey, that looks like a good place to shoot videos from now on. So we're going to try this out for a couple of videos. But today's video is about the last pay-per-view, or WWE Network special, whatever they're calling it today, from WWE. This is on the heels, of course, of people asking for WWE, in particular the USA Network, asking WWE to be a bit edgier, and a bit more adult, and a bit more attitudinal like it was back in the day when they had all those people. And Randy Orton said, oh yeah, alright, him and Bray Wyatt got together and decided to use fire. Yes, the Fiend got his ass set on fire by Randy Orton. I tell you, I didn't expect to see that happening, but it was pretty cool. I mean, he's just sitting there cooking. We got barbecue Bray Wyatt. Get some s'mores out there and grab yourself a WWE ice cream bar, and hopefully it doesn't melt too fast, and sit around and cook some marshmallows and hot dogs over Bray Wyatt. But it was unexpected. I enjoyed it. It's a bit over the top, but again, I think the problem they're going to run into it with is in that artificial Thunderdome world that they live in, and even before that, with all of you got something gritty happening in a place that looks like a game show stage. So it loses a bit of its resonance there. And going back and comparing to the Attitude Era. Remember the Attitude Era? It was a ring, a steel ramp, one big Titantron, and a bunch of steel trussing with some banners that said Raw is War. It was red, black, and steel. That screams to me rough and rugged. LED lights and all this other stuff, it doesn't... Really, the setting, it would come off a lot better. But good step in the right direction if they're actually going to go forward with this whole going back a little bit more to the Attitude Era. I've already done videos and a podcast about that this past weekend. You can check out my podcast that's on iTunes and Spotify and Podbean and everywhere else. I also did an earlier video on this channel as well if you want to check that out. Now, some other things that stood out on this show. We had a pretty good tag team match featuring the New Day. 10-time tag team champions. I wasn't even aware of that. Defending against the Hurt Business, getting the tag team championships. Again, one of my favorite factions right now in WWE is the Hurt Business. MVP came out of nowhere. He's one of the MVPs of WWE this year. He did a great job of leading this faction, and I buy him. I dig him. It's not a rehashing of the Nation of Domination. It's his own thing. It's new and slightly different, yet a little bit old, and it's got old school and new school there. You got, of course, you got MVP and Bobby Lashley, and you got Cedric Alexander in there. And, it's Shelton Benjamin. All of those guys really contribute to this group, and this group is pretty damn awesome. So hats off and kudos to the Hurt Business for winning the tag team titles. And the other tag team championship match, one of probably the highlights of this night. It was actually a decent show of surprises. Asuka. We now find out why Lana got injured. Lana got injured, kayfabe injured, on this past week's WWE TV by Nia Jax and Shayna Bayzler, the women's tag team champions. She was originally slated to be in this tag team match with Raw Women's Champion Asuka going after the women's tag team titles, but we had to get a surprise replacement, and Asuka, she already picked somebody. Speculation went, but I think a couple of us already kind of knew where this was going because the rumors have been around that she was coming back. The Queen, Charlotte Flair, teaming up with the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, taking on that's a formidable, those are two formidable teams. I mean, Nia Jax just because she's so big, and Shayna Baszler because she's so tough. Charlotte Flair is one of the most technical wrestlers, best technical female wrestlers in the business, and Asuka, who used to be a fearful striker, somebody you would fear, not so much anymore. They've kind of made her a comedy gimmick though, but I think this was a good, I did like this pairing. It was a nice little surprise for those of us who didn't 100% know that Charlotte was coming back on this pay-per-view. The match was okay. It winds up with, unfortunately, the ending I didn't like so much that Shayna Bayzler went down to one natural selection from Charlotte Flair. Of course, Charlotte, Ric Flair, they're in the McMahon, inner circle, so they're going to get this kind of stuff. There's a bit of nepotism there because, Shayna Baszler was a beast in NXT, and I think you should probably have more than one natural selection, since that's the era we're in now, where if you're a big, rugged powerhouse wrestler, you're going to kick out of a finisher. And for her not to kick out of at least one finisher from Charlotte Flair, I thought that kind of was short-sighted, but that is a minor nitpick on the fact that I absolutely dig the fact that they're going back again now to Charlotte and Asuka, and we're heading into Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season, and we all know Asuka's first defeat in WWE came at the hands of Charlotte at WrestleMania several years ago. I want to see how they're going to work that out. I was half expecting Charlotte to turn on Asuka in this match, a la what her dad, Ric Flair, would do in the past to Sting and a bunch of other people, because Charlotte Flair doesn't really want the Women's Tag Team Championship. She wants a world title. She wants the Raw Women's Championship or the SmackDown title. This is all setting up, obviously. They showed the good shot, as they always do. They frame it up so well. WWE kind of beats you over the head with stuff a lot of times because they assume that you're really stupid, so you're not going to get this stuff. So the shot is Asuka holding up the tag titles along with the Women's Championship, and then you also had Charlotte with the tag titles, and I was just waiting for Charlotte to do one of these. And look at the Raw Women's Championship to get it. But yeah, we all know that's where this is going. The TLC match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, because I think that was the best match, in my opinion, on the night. Owens really came into his own again. We saw the vicious Kevin Owens that we haven't seen in WWE for a while. Back to when he first came into NXT and when he first went up to the main roster and had that feud with John Cena. And I will always love Kevin Owens for the fact that he powerbombed Machine Gun Kelly off of a stage. That was the best thing I had seen on Raw that year. But yeah, you saw a little bit of that Kevin Owens coming back here against Roman Reigns, but they've elevated Roman Reigns to being such a badass now that Kevin Owens being, the Kevin Owens we used to know was still considered an underdog. He wasn't tough enough to take on the head of the table, Roman Reigns. And of course, you got Jey Uso running around there trying to help out Roman in every pass he could. They did an early ankle injury spot and then forgot about it later on. I didn't notice that because Owens put Jey Uso's leg in that famous Pillman spot, or the Dusty spot if you go back old school, with the chair and then somebody jumping on top of the chair and breaking the limb. Jey Uso comes back out when it looks like Owens is about to win the match and climb up the ladder and grab the championship, and then here comes Jey Uso out of nowhere sprinting to the ring, and then his leg is fine. Little short-sighted on the way they did that there, but ultimately, again, these are minor nitpicks. I did enjoy this match. Roman putting out Owens with the guillotine. Even still, then Jey Uso had to come in and do other stuff, but ultimately Roman retained the championship. I like the fact that they did two things in this match, that even though Roman cheated to win, he also pretty much dominated most of the match and was beating the crap out of Kevin Owens, so it doesn't make him look weak. They have done, I don't know who's doing this. I don't know if this is Heyman or Vince or Roman himself, or probably a combination of the three of them kind of coming together on what to do, but keep doing it. This new Roman Reigns, again, we've said it multiple times, he's going to be an MVP for WWE this year. Who would have thought? In the past 6-7 years, that at any time we would come and say Roman Reigns is one of the best things in WWE, and not because WWE tells us to say that, but because they actually have him in storylines and in matches that actually highlight his assets, which is he's a big badass. That's what we first originally liked about him when he was in the Shield. He was a quiet badass. He's kind of gone back to being the quiet, sullen. He doesn't scream, he doesn't yell. He's just very boiling with anger, and that is the Roman Reigns we've wanted to see for the last 6 or 7 years, and we finally got it now. So hats off to him, hats off to Kevin Owens too. Some of the bumps he took in that match were pretty crazy, but overall, there was some other stuff too, but I'm just going to give a general review. Overall, TLC, okay show. The fire spot, I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of think, again, it just seems out of place with that setup. I'm going to talk about this in another video when we talk about some WWE financials later this week. But if you liked the TLC pay-per-view or you didn't like the TLC pay-per-view, I want to hear from you. Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. If you like this video, of course, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. Definitely share this video on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you talk about WWE and sports entertainment. I will see you guys pretty soon. My year-end videos are coming up with company grades. That's coming up later this week. Match of the year, wrestle of the year, tag team of the year, etc., etc., etc. So stay tuned for those videos as we head towards the end, thank God, of 2020. Have a good day.